Hello everyone, it's me, Japanese Bond. The lads are otherwise incapacitated this week, so they've asked me to upload this episode for them, which is a kind of collection of unused material from past episodes, so it's all never heard before stuff, you know, it's good, it's grand. It's not like they're just rehashing old clips or now. It's Diminishing Returns. Right, first up off the bat, we've got a whole wealth of unused material from that big Spider-Man episode they did a while back. Do you remember that? That was a long time ago, Spider-Man. First up, the lads, they're chatting about Stan Lee making a good old cameo. Then they have a little chat about another cameo from Spider-Man 2. And then, if you recall in that episode, there was a big old Spider-Man quiz. Well, the actual recording for that quiz was really long. The vast majority of it got cut out of the episode for time. It was just so long, and it was already a very long episode. So, presented at the end of this is the version of that quiz. You'll hopefully enjoy it. I hope you like quizzes there.
Something I forgot to mention in the first film, but it's every bit as relevant here, is Stan Lee's cameo. No, but aren't they perfect in the first two Spider-Man films?
What are they?
It's like you blink and you miss it. He's just there. In the first one, he like pulls a kid out of the way of a falling rock from a bit of rubble.
Yeah,
and it's like half a second shot. And the second one, I think he's in it even less. It's like you literally like one shot that's on screen for like half a second, then he's gone.
Well, this is when, again, his cameos were literally just cameos. Yeah. It's like, oh, he's stood in the background of X-Men or whatever. Whereas I think it was starting with Spider-Man 3, he started to have lines and they started making more of a thing about him, which I didn't like very
much.
But
it like, doesn't it make you hark for those days watching these films where he doesn't, like, he's just there and gone. And you don't have him come out and say, like, hey, kids, it's me, the Stan Lee. How you enjoying the movie?
Apparently in the first film, I read this on Wikipedia, he was supposed to actually have a line where he was supposed, have you heard about this? He was supposed to go up to Peter and say, hey kid, would you like a pair of these glasses? They're like the kind they wore in the X-Men.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That'd have been dreadful.
Oh god.
It is the third one
that's
where
on the DVD, actually. I think I've seen that.
Ah.
Me and my friend used to take the piss out of it, and that's why that line's so familiar to me. We used to just go up to each other and go, how about these? They wore them in the X-Men. Oh, no, that's an outtake.
Oh, is it?
That might have been a line, but there's an outtake on the DVD where he's like not in character and he holds up a pair of sunglasses to someone off camera and goes, how about these? They wore them in the X-Men. Unless that was just a deleted scene and it's shot weirdly, like he's looking off to the side, but...
Yeah, maybe.
Little comment. You know at the end when Mary Jane's running away in her wedding dress, there's a guy who passes her and kind of looks back like what's going on, and that is, I believe, the stuntman for Punisher in the Punisher movies. And it was like a weird little thing that Sam Raimi wanted to put in, like, hey, maybe we're going to do a Punisher crossover. I think he's wearing like the Punisher outfit as well, just like a black t-shirt and a leather jacket or something. It's this really odd little thing.
Niche cameo.
Yeah. But it's all the weirder back then, because obviously these were very separate universes, and there's another instance of that here, actually, where they make a reference to Doctor Strange. Did that strike you as odd in retrospect?
I don't know if I picked up on it.
I don't remember.
They're when they're trying to come up with a name for Dr. Octopus at the newspaper, and he's like, Dr. Octopus, who came up with this? And then, the other guy's like, we should call him Green Meanie, or I don't know. No, that's Green Goblin, isn't it? Or maybe it's the first film. No, it's the second one. They're trying to come up with names for him, and they're throwing names around, and then someone goes like, what about Doctor Strange? And then he goes, that's really good, but it's already taken.
Oh, yeah.
See,
It's like a little nod. To...
Yeah, it's just look, all the comic book geeks are going to watch this. They'll dig that. Let's throw a little gag in there.
Yeah.
It always annoyed me though, because Doctor Strange is a really shit name.
It is quite, yeah.
So J. Jonah Jameson should be like, that's a shit name, and it's already taken. Okay, that's round 1 over and done with. Now it's fun, all right? So, round 2. This round is entitled...
Well, shall we not call it round 2, just in case you want to cut that out of the edit?
All right, this round is called Too Soon. Spider-Man was rebooted far, far too soon. But now,
Correct.
the last...
True.
Now the last Raimi film is, 10 years old, Spider-Man 3. So, can we talk about everyone who's been in those films who's now dead? There's 14 credited cast members who are in all 3 of the Sam Raimi films. What percentage of them are now dead? Whoever guesses the closest number wins. Let's say 5 points.
What percentage of...
So there's 14
14 characters. What percentage of them are now dead? These are the people who have been... Sorry, not characters. These are actors who have been credited in all 3 films.
Yes, sorry, the actors, yeah.
Can we guess a number out of 14 rather than a percentage and be...
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
14 percentages of 14.
Okay. I'll have to add them all up, though. All right, I've done it.
What? I was going to say, how many... Is it going to be 2 or 3?
I'm gonna guess that 2 of them are dead.
Okay. Alan?
I don't think many at all. Okay, I'll go higher. I'll go 3.
Alan, you are bang on. It is 3 credited cast members out of the 14.
Uncle Ben's one of them, isn't he?
Uncle Ben is one of them. Cliff Robertson, who is sadly no longer with us. Bill Nunn is now dead. He was
I did know
black
Bill
guy
Nunn was
in
dead,
the
yeah.
In the newsroom. And John Paxton, Bill Paxton's father, who has got weird little cameo roles in all the films. He is also now dead.
Interesting.
You know, Bill Nunn is a bit too much of a name actor to be such a small role. I didn't really know why he's in it. I know Bill Nunn's not exactly a huge star, but he's a well-established actor.
What about Ted Raimi as his... Okay, so that is that. But, Alan, you are now in the lead. I will give you another point for each additional cast member you can name who is now dead in those films, if you can name any. There are 4.
Oh, God.
And they are all small roles.
Oh, God.
In one film apiece. No? Calvin?
Are we just doing the original trilogy?
Yeah, the original Raimi film.
I only know the stars.
Well, the answers are Macho Man Randy Savage, who played Bonesaw McGraw in the first one, the wrestler guy. Hal Fishman, who was the newsreader in the third film. Lucy Gordon, who's that inexplicably British newsreader, like, reporting on the stuff at the end, who died very young. And Jim Coop, who was a newsstand patron. So I don't even know if he had any lines in the films. Okay, round 3. Or 2. Other than Peter Parker, which characters depicted in any of the Spider-Man movies have also donned the suit?
Ooh.
The little boy in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
By which I mean have been Spider-Man in one form or another, rather than just wearing the suit.
Okay.
Well,
Topher Grace.
Harry wasn't he?
Harry,
Yes.
No, that's not correct.
Oh.
Topher Grace's character.
No, because that's the symbiote. That's not Spider-Man's costume. It's not the.
Hang on, what was the question?
Other than Peter Parker,
Yeah.
which characters depicted in any of the Spider-Man movies have also donned the suit, have become Spider-Man? This is in the comic books, in other media, but characters depicted in the films, so that you're familiar with them.
Okay.
Aunt May.
Aunt May is correct.
Yes!
In an alternate universe, Aunt May was bitten instead of Peter and becomes... I'll give you an extra point if you can guess what she called herself.
Spider-Man?
No.
Aunt Spider?
Aunt Spider?
No. Spider-Man.
Oh, God. Brilliant. I love it.
Oh,
I want to
books
read
are so
that.
shite, aren't they?
Calvin, you're 2 points behind Alan, so if you can get any more of these.
Oh, can I just shout out?
Yeah.
We're just guessing characters then, I guess.
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane, yes, in Marvel's new mangaverse, Mary Jane becomes Spider-Woman and is trained by Peter Parker in the ways of the Spider Clan.
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson, I will give you a half point for that.
I bet he did it to get a photo or something.
In a deleted scene in Spider-Man 2, he literally puts on Spider-Man's costume and prances around, like pretending to shoot web at people, and then someone walks in and is very awkward.
Green Goblin or the young Green Goblin.
No,
either of them.
No. There's
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. Spider-Gwen is an ongoing comic book series started in 2015, focused on an alternate reality where Gwen was bitten rather than Peter.
Kurt Connors.
No, but you're on the right lines.
Doc Ock.
Dr. Octavius, correct.
Lizard.
Dr. Octopus put his mind into Peter Parker's body to become, basically to beat him. But once he became like part of his body, he obtained his memories and became a good guy and becomes the superior Spider-Man. It's a comic series that ran from 2013 to 14. There's 3 left, but you probably won't.
Sandman.
No.
The other characters that are in it.
I'll give you a clue. They're all like young teenage kids, like roughly the same
the
age as
bully.
Peter Parker.
The high school bully.
Yes, Flash Thompson in an issue of What If, which is something Marvel does, where they just look at what if so-and-so got bitten instead of so-and-so. What if this happened instead of that?
Don't they do that in, like, just alternative lines anyway?
Yeah.
It's so cheap, isn't it?
No, there's a great issue of DC do something like that, and they do What If Superman landed in Soviet Russia. It's great. Soviet communist Superman. Anyway.
I've got one. The astronaut.
Yes, John Jameson in that same issue of What's If, or an issue of What's If. Yes, there were 3.
He's the only other young person I could think of. I don't know.
There were
anymore.
3 in that What's If thing that did this. You're not going to guess this other one, I don't think. So I'll give you another clue. She was portrayed by an actress who wasn't a very big deal, but then was.
Felicity Jones's character.
No.
No, the secretary of the editor.
Yes, Betty Brant.
Elizabeth Banks.
Betty Brant's character, yes. That is all of them. Okay, final round. This is the fun round now. Do you remember the Sony hacks from North Korea?
Yes.
And all that?
Yeah.
Okay. So a whole load of Spider-Man stuff came out in those hacks. So for this round, you need to think like a movie executive circa May 2014. I'm going to read the email from Amy Pascal about casting the Sinister Six movie, and I will also read extracts from a reply sent to that email, but I've redacted the names. You are going to try to guess what actors they are talking about.
Can you fill me in on what the Sinister Six is?
Sinister Six is a collection of villains like Suicide Squad, but with Spider-Man villains. So Green Goblin was going to be in the team, but obviously that was cast with the kid in Amazing Spider-Man. Paul Giamatti as the Rhino was going to be in there, but he's obviously already been cast. And I believe what's his name as the Lizard was going to be in there, but the hints are that Dr. Octavius is also going to be in there, Sandman's going to be in there, and someone else. So I believe Black Cat, actually, Felicia Hardy. So I will begin. Quotes, I can't help but think of blank in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Could be Doc if he played it that way? Question mark. So they're casting Dr. Octavius. The reply was, I love blank
Ben Stiller
in everything.
I say I only know Ben Stiller in it. Wait, I've got it.
Okay, Alan. Who
Ricky Gervais.
No,
Ricky Gervais.
you are both wrong. I'm afraid it's Sean Penn. Sean Penn. Okay, continuing on. Blank, because he is mostly always blank. They're still casting for Dr. Octopus.
Wait, was the second blank the word blank? Or
It is the
was that
same
also his
word in
name?
both instances that has been redacted.
So it's his name.
It is his name. It is his first name. They do not use a surname, but it's safe to assume it's this actor they are talking about.
Say it must be. Has to be someone with they're just by the first name. Clint.
Madonna.
No, it is Denzel, as in Washington.
Oh.
Doc has got to be the leader, have enough quirks that he isn't boring as the straight man, can be funny, but has got to take the whole thing seriously. Blank would be...
Will Smith.
Hang on. Blank would be so good. And then the reply, blank would be great, but I also see it coming somehow.
Yeah.
You're going Will Smith. Calvin?
Well, he fits that description, so yeah.
For Dr. Octopus, who would
Philip
fit that?
Seymour
Jonah Hill.
No. It's George Clooney. Next one up. Calvin, you might get this. May 2014.
Zac Efron.
Blank is perfect, but he will never be available in Feb ever. Reply, blank is perfect.
In February. Oh, so it's an actually a TV show.
February.
I would have thought
Daniel Craig.
It is Daniel Craig!
Yes!
How did you get that?
Because he's always making Bond films in February.
Is he?
No, he isn't.
How did you know?
I don't know, actually.
Right.
He would be perfect for that.
Does blank seem smart enough? Reply, blank feels totally alive to me. I believe he loves this woman so much that it drives him mad, and also that he's a genius in the dancing Wu Lee Masters kind of way. Brackets, anybody? I've just never seen it, and he can also kick a little ass. Your biggest clue is, does he seem smart enough?
Mark Wahlberg.
No, but you're not.
Jeremy Renner.
You're not a million miles away. No,
Shia LaBeouf?
no, it was Matthew McConaughey.
Oh.
Can we get away with blank? Can we pay him? Reply, blank would be amazing, crazy expensive, but I like it.
Tom Cruise.
Brad Pitt?
No. I'm going to let you have another
Will
stab at
Smith?
it. Will Smith.
Sean
It
Connery?
is Will Smith.
Oh.
Now, that means they were angling for Willie Wilbur Smith to be in Suicide Squad. Before they made Suicide Squad. So Sinister Six, the Suicide Squad before they made it. And then DC swept in and were like, let's do that.
Too expensive.
And then this is 3 in 1. Let's see if you can get this. Blank, blank, blank. None of these guys are going to do it. So think about like real pie in the sky, good actors here.
Sean Connery?
In 2014.
Yeah, you never know. Pie in the Sky.
Pie in the sky for a movie executive. One of
because they're
their
too good.
names has already been thrown out by you.
Anthony
guys.
Hopkins.
No.
Ben Affleck.
Oh, wait. Oh, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt
Tom Cruise.
is one of them.
Affleck.
No.
Clooney.
No.
Casey Affleck.
No. I'll give you 10 seconds to get some.
They're just major Hollywood guys.
Jack Nicholson.
4,
No, they need to be younger than that.
2, 1. Time up.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No. Brad Pitt was a point, though, so that's a point for you there, Cameron. The other two were Leonardo DiCaprio, and as he's referred to in the email, DDL, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, yeah, he'd do it.
I need to go through these Sony emails. I bet there's so
They are
much good stuff in them.
fascinating, especially on the subject of Spider-Man. Now we're moving on to Sandman. Sandman...
Oh, for fuck. Oh, wait. How many characters are
So,
there?
Sandman is so easy, and there are so many ways to go with the character. Blank, blank, blank. Reply, our director loves blank for Sandman. I do too. We also talked about blank, brackets, who I think wants to play Venom. Blank would be spectacular, if not Matthew is Ock. Just don't want everyone to be 50. So you've got 3 people here.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum is correct.
Yes, because I know he wants to play Venom.
Does he?
We talked about it earlier, didn't we?
No.
Who's playing Venom?
You said Tom Hardy.
Oh, never mind then.
Tom Hardy.
Tom
Oh,
Hardy, correct. That's a point.
Oh.
And there's one more who is of the not wanting everyone to be 50 comment, really. That was
Jeff
aimed at
Goldblum.
him. No. Alan?
Bruce.
No, it's Woody Harrelson.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, that's where my mind went.
That would be great. Now that would be
and another name they threw out at the end of that discussion, blank, brackets, he could also be Felicia Hardy, close brackets.
He could also be Felicia
It's a
Hardy.
very odd comment, but
Casey Affleck?
he is an odd-looking chap who's...
Steve Buscemi.
Ezra Miller.
No.
Tom
Jared
Hiddleston.
Leto. Jared Leto.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Why am I worried about blank? I think I saw a picture of her and she looked anorexic. Reply, Drew has a strong feeling about blank, but good to talk options.
Cara Delevingne.
No. Alan? Funny looking, anorexic looking women?
No, go on.
Emily Blunt. Alan, you win the big Spider-Man quiz with 27.5 points against Calvin's rather pathetic 22 points.
What? It was only 5 behind.
Those emails are fascinating, by the way. There's a whole load of stuff in there where they're trying to figure out what the fuck to do, and one of the ideas is seriously investigate making Sam Raimi and or David Coep creative overlords and invite Raimi to pull a Bryan Singer on X-Men and return to the franchise as the filmmaker.
Interesting.
Among also, basically they were trying to get like about 5 different continuities going at once with different Spider-Man movies, and it sounded just like absolute madness, and they didn't have a clue what they were doing, and one of them wanted to have Silver Age Spider-Man and a separate trilogy going on at the same time, and
that's bizarre.
Yeah, it really is, and it's no surprise that they have ended up with just handing it over to Marvel.
Yeah, no, it makes more sense. Give it to people who know what they're doing.
Right, hello, it's me again, Japanese Bond here again. I'm a real Diminishing Returns Gotaku I am, so I'm here with all my notes about which episode each bit's from. This here's just a bit of a quick cut from the episode about Rise of the Planet of the Apes. If you remember that, the lads, they did a kind of 2-part episode about the Planet of the Apes series a while back. And this was just some nice anecdotes about going to the cinema in general, I guess. If you've ever been to the cinema and they've kind of got it a bit messed up. When I saw this in the cinema, actually, I missed the first minute or so in the jungle because this is going to test how much of a moviegoer you are, I suppose, if this has ever happened to you. But it was that thing where the projection was out of focus, and it was a packed cinema, and I was right at the back, and I waited about 20 seconds. Just saw, right, no one's going to do anything, for fuck's sake. So I had to get up from the back of the cinema, run down to the front, go outside, go, screen 12's out of focus, run back in, run back up to watch it come into focus. No one else got out their seats or anything. It was just bizarre how, the British are with that sort of thing. So yeah, it was the first time I actually saw that opening sequence when I rewatched the film the other night, because I missed it first time round. Bit of trivia for you about my life. Has that ever happened to you where a film's out of focus? In fact, it's happened to you. We saw The Crazies together, didn't we?
Yes, I was about to say, and you were again the only person to leave. And
but at least in that there were only about 10 people in the screen, and we were near the front. I didn't mind that one so much.
Yeah, but it was your birthday. No, I had a speaker. I had a speaker explode. Well, not explode, but it went halfway through. It was my second time watching The Force Awakens, which would have been my first had I not looked out and got a ticket to the premiere 2 days before.
All right,
but that was the thing.
Mr. Industry, show off.
That was one of the things where people kept going out to tell the people behind the thing. So basically every other speaker was working apart from the main one at the front. And so mainly dialogue was being channeled through that speaker. So all the special effects and music was playing perfectly, but everyone was talking a bit like this. And for several people went out to complain, and the people outside kept saying, "Oh no, it's fine, it'll be fine in a minute." And then it just wasn't. And then eventually at half an hour, and they did something to the speakers to make it work again. But anyway, yes. I just felt really bad for all these like Star Wars fans who was like, this was their first like time seeing it. They were like super excited, and then the speaker exploded.
You were sat there going, "Oh, I saw it before it was released."
Yes, I was on my high horse. I know what they're all saying.
Something I notice a lot now, actually, is just when... Do you ever go to the cinema and, like, the projection bulb is obviously, like, on its way out and they really ought to change it, but a lot of big chains are really shitty about this because they can, like, squeeze the pennies and not change them, like, when they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So you end up with a film that's just, like, flickering and like, really inconsistently lit up. And it's one of those things that I think just no one else in this... I've sat through so many films because I can't be bothered getting up and making a fuss about it, but it winds me up.
Anyway, did missing the opening scene affect you much? Because I mean, it's just really you see Caesar's mother being captured.
No.
Right, now, here we go. This is what I think we've all been waiting for, guys. It's only some cut material from my Tour de Force episode, You Only Live Twice. First of all, there's a bit of chat about sake being served at the correct room temperature. Then there's a little appearance from myself, which was cut for time. I'm not entirely sure why you'd ever cut my glorious appearances, but maybe they felt that it's better to leave them wanting more, you know. And finally, there's an appearance from some more of my pals and relatives. Politically correct Bond, among others, he pops up there. So hope you enjoy these clips, lads. It's a bloody great episode, this one, that these are taken from.
Oh, wait. I've got another bit. When he's with Tiger Tanaka, he goes, they drink sake together. And Bond goes, "Oh no, I like Japanese sake." And then he drinks it. He goes, "Especially when it's served at the correct temperature." Now, 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Very nice. That's basically what he says.
Yes.
Now, I thought 98.4 degrees. That's extraordinarily specific. Like, how would you even begin to judge that on a sort of day-to-day basis? So I looked into it. This is what Wikipedia says. It says, It says in Japan, sake is served chilled, at room temperature, or heated, depending on the preference of the drinker, the quality of the sake, and the season. Typically, hot sake is a winter drink, and high-grade sake is not drunk hot because the flavours and aromas will be lost. The masking of flavour is the reason that low-quality and old sake is often served hot. There are gradations of temperature, both for chilling and heating, about every 5 degrees... or 9 degrees Fahrenheit, with hot sake generally served around 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and chilled sake around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, like white wine. And that is it, yeah. So there you go. Total bollocks from James Bond.
Well, maybe it was true 50 years ago, Alan.
No, I think it's very in keeping with his character that he just have this completely incorrect knowledge in his head and go around talking it like as if it was gospel. But
it impresses
that's
me.
the opposite of like that's why you're meant to have like crap beer and crap cider. They always tell you to serve it ice cold, serve it over ice, and like, you know, Fosters and stuff. They'll serve it like as chilled as possible because the colder you get it, the more it masks the lack of flavour and the high quality stuff, the high quality booze. You don't have to worry about chilling, but
like red wine.
So he's in Japan.
So he gets to the Japanese.
Oh, Alan.
Oh, hello. There's someone at the door there. Oh, hello. Oh, look who it is. It's Japanese Bond again. He's back.
Hello, it's me, Japanese Bond.
Oh, hello. We just had a question for you, actually.
Oh, yes.
What was the name of your wife? Your Japanese Bond wife?
Oh, I don't know. She never actually told me her name during the course of the marriage.
Oh dear.
Sorry to bother you. I was just watching a film and a crazy Japanese girl started climbing out of the television, so I thought I'd better come over here.
Oh yeah, we know that film. That's The Ring. That's
Yes,
The Ring.
yes.
That's called. Yeah.
We reviewed that a while ago.
Anyway, I'm off to the karaoke. See you later.
What song do you do when you carry? What do you give him? Japanese Bond?
Oh, I do, the living daylights.
You're a fan of Aha, are you?
Yes, all the hits. I do all the hits. I do that one. I do Goldfinger.
You've gone a bit less Japanese Bond. You seem to have lost the Japanese bit of Japan.
Did you jump in a bit of water and it all washed off?
Well, I alternate those with turning Japanese. I just do that in between every song to remind myself of my sensitive Japanese heritage.
Okay. What? Just a quick question, Japanese Bond. What's the right temperature to serve Japanese sake? I mean, as a man of Japanese culture and heritage, you'll definitely know the answer to that.
Everyone knows it's 94.5 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'm no Japanese expert.
Yeah, and if you look it up and it says something different, that's wrong. It's racist. If you look it up and it doesn't say that, it's being racist.
You sound very Scottish, Japanese Bond.
Well, I hear that a lot, but I'm actually Japanese.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to the pictures now, Japanese Bonds. So,
very good.
We'll speak to you later then. Sayonara.
Sayonara, what does that mean?
It's a dialectical thing.
Right, well, I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh, that was nice of him to pop by again.
I really do need to go now.
Oh, it's politically correct Bonds just come back.
Oh,
Well, that was very insensitive. I don't think you should include. I don't think you should be making fun of the dead.
A politically correct Bond. How would you deal with a woman if she was acting up?
a woman.
I would treat her exactly the same way I would treat a man if he were acting up.
Well,
And I'd be very polite and courteous, and ask
Punches
if
late
they were.
So would you hit?
Ask if they were on their period. I can't keep this up. It's out of my nature. My name's James Bond. Oh God, calm down, James. Jesus.
He's got into 60s Bond.
Oh God, there's another one. It's Austin Powers Bond. Yeah, baby.
All right. Shut the doors.
Oh no.
Kick him out. We can't go into another film.
Oh no, it's Shrek Bond. Oh, donkey. Shrek Bond, could you please give these onions back to French Bond? He left them. Oh, onions are like ogres. All right, I've heard it before.
Yeah, we get it.
All right.
Okay, right.
Oh,
We're going to stop recording so that we can get all these people off our property.
Some more clips now, going back to The Shallows. Here the lads went off on a bit of a tangent, chatting about statistics, and specifically things that you're more likely to be harmed by than a bloody shark.
When I was doing a bit of research in terms of my pitch, I was looking up things that are more dangerous than sharks, right? And one of them that was specifically cited was jellyfish.
Do you mean statistically?
Yeah, jellyfish kill more people than sharks do.
Because I never quite... I take issue with a lot of these sorts of statistics.
Hey, I tell you what.
It's more
there was some
dangerous
fucking
to...
bullshit.
Donkeys are more dangerous than sharks because they kill more people each year. Yeah, well, there's more people hanging around with donkeys all
Interacting
the
with
time.
donkeys. Yeah, exactly. But the interest, there was some very... I was on BuzzFeed, right? I looked on this BuzzFeed list, and I tell you what, BuzzFeed's a weird thing, isn't it? Like, that is... I mean, I am aware of BuzzFeed. I'm not that completely out of the loop, but it's not something I really go on very often, and it is just a big list of lies. I don't really know what the point of it is. I don't really understand what the point of that is.
It's clickbait, isn't it? It's just like, what can we get bored people in offices to?
But it was
click
just
on?
completely
Top 11, secrets.
Obviously it was completely uncited in terms of information, but just from common sense, I knew that a lot of it was lies. It was just bullshit. I understand how numbers work, and I know that these were not true numbers. It was just a simple thing. One thing I read said that the chances of being in a fatal car accident are 1 in 272.
Well, that's
Which at first
not
I was thinking that means like if you go to work and back every day, you're going to die like every 136 days, like on average. I was like, that doesn't make. But I think what it meant was it was badly worded. I think what it meant was that for every 272 people die, one of them is in a car accident.
Right.
Which makes a bit more sense.
I can believe
and I don't know if if that's in like just in America, maybe I don't know what the stats were, but it was so worded so badly. I was like, wow, that is obviously bullshit. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Sorry, I found this shark article on BuzzFeed. 12 things more likely to kill you than a shark, and I'm scrolling down and like, when does it start? It's just like there's tweets of Ricky Gervais supporting the Western Australian government to stop the shark cull, and there's a lot of stuff like that. But when does the actual? Oh, here we are. Oh, smoking.
Oh.
Well, again, smoking isn't more dangerous than sharks. It's just that, like, I don't live in the sea in shark-infested water, but I might.
If you
start
swam with 20
cigarettes.
sharks a day, it might be more dangerous.
Yeah. Alcohol. Breast cancer. I'll admit that cancer is more likely, like, is more deadly than sharks. Yes, okay.
Are you on 20 things that kill more people than sharks every year?
No, I'm on 12.
I think that's the one I went on, Calvin.
Oh, I'm on 20. I also see that there's another one for 24. My top one is obesity, and they've helpfully displayed this with like a large man in a motor scooter thing.
I've got breast
at a car boot
cancer,
sale.
skin cancer. I assume there's car accidents, drowning.
But on that list that you're looking at, Calvin, is dogs on there down near the bottom? It says
Let's see. I've got hippos,
I've got
hippos kill
guns
quite a
on
lot of
here.
volcanoes, autoerotic asphyxiation, shopping on Black Friday.
Well, that'll be
What?
statistically that, like, a handful
Kills
of people-
550 people annually. That cannot be
That's-
true.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bullshit. That is not true.
That is the list I looked at.
There's
550 people
maybe-
do not get killed by Black Friday. Like
Black
one
Friday-
every now and then because someone falls over.
No,
and smacks
Black
their head.
Friday. So there's like there's a handful of people who've like got so angry they've shot people on Black Friday. If you count that as Black Friday, I think there are like a very, very small number of people who've been crushed to death maybe once or twice that's happened. And then maybe you could make an argument for like the stress of it causing a heart attack or car crashes on the way to the shops or something. But even that's tenuous. But you'd be looking at less than that number for every Black Friday ever held overall, I would expect. Maybe that many people
by 10
died
times.
on Black Friday.
Yeah, maybe on that. Yeah, maybe
in
that's
one
it. It's just
state.
on that day.
No, it says killed annually.
Yeah, every year that happens.
Yeah, every year.
550.
Falling out of bed kills 450 people annually in the United States.
Well, that does kill people sometimes, but even
Yeah, that'll be
that
old
many.
people who are like shatter as they
Yeah,
hit the
yeah,
ground.
yeah.
Bathtubs?
Yeah, similar thing. Slip and smack you,
Yeah.
break your neck. That does happen, yeah.
Deer, okay, icicles.
But yeah, there's another one. Deer kills however many people. No, traveling at 50 miles an hour in a car and hitting a deer kills you.
Yeah.
The deer
Yeah.
doesn't
Being
kill you. It's not like it
impaled on
rips
the,
your throat out.
on the antlers, which is a thing that happens more often than you would think.
I've got into jellyfish and dogs.
There you go. So what does
I've
it
got
say for
people
dogs, right?
falling out of bed. Horse riding accidents here. Well, yeah,
Dogs.
because you're riding a horse, so that's a really dangerous thing to do. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised
Dog-
at all. Ladders
dogs
kill
kill-
19 people, according to this, every year. That's not fair to blame it on a ladder.
But that's it. It's like maybe falling off them, maybe, but no.
Maybe
Calvin,
like
Calvin, tell me
precariously
the dogs
climbing,
Dog-
around high places.
Dogs kill 30 people annually in the United States.
This one says
There you go. Right. That's a stat I saw, and then I was looking at something else, and it said like, oh, after mosquitoes and humans, like dogs are the third biggest killer of people. 250,000 a year. Like, what the fuck? 250,000 people killed by dogs. What are you talking about?
Well, this
And
says
then that one says 50 people, or whatever it was.
this says bee stings. So 10 people die a year from bee stings, according to this. Which, like, yeah, but that's specifically people who are allergic to bee stings, and I'm not. So if you're trying to make me less scared of sharks, it's not gonna. And at the end it says, but somehow sharks are the bad guys. Now, a while back, for some reason, the lads, they did an episode on Beavis and Butthead Tour America. It's a very bloody weird choice, if you ask me. It's not even bloody Japanese or James Bond. Like, why would you even bother? We got a bit of pre-record preamble. The lads went off on a bit of a tangent, just having a chat. We've got another quiz here. This was entirely cut for time, which was a quiz about King of the Hill and Futurama. And then at the end there, they go off on a bit of a tangent about Kevin Smith.
I've got weights now. I thought, because
beefing up.
we sit here, doing this for oh no, you just heard
That's
me
a good
hit the
idea,
disc. Yeah,
Just,
it's like
just pump some iron while you're there.
Exactly. Yep. Just sit in my chair, pumping some iron. It's, keeps the mind going. But I've only got. I had them delivered to work, and they were too heavy for me to carry them both back. So I've only got one.
Why did you do
I've
that?
only got one with me at the moment. So I'm going to be swapping between hands.
Did the mail boy from the from the mail room have to bring it up on a trolley? Here you go, Mr. Dyson, and then he's just carrying it effortlessly, drops it into your arms, and you fall to the floor.
It was a bit like that, yeah. To be honest.
Wait, how heavy are they?
They're 3 kilograms. Is it kilograms?
What? They're 3 kilograms each, and there's 2 of them.
Yes.
And you couldn't carry them.
Well, I could, but not effortlessly.
Oh dear.
So I only took one back, and I've got a new rucksack, so I didn't want to tear it by putting in too much weight.
Did you take it out of the package and everything and just carry it home, as if you were power walking with the weights in the hands?
Oh no, I put it in my rucksack.
He's just like, this! Oh yeah, I'll be doing some working out later. Trying to impress everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Anyway, yes.
You know who else actually started on Beavis and Butthead? One of the writers they drafted in.
No, David X. Cohen. I know he worked on it.
Yes, David X. Cohen. Yeah, as David S. Cohen, but he got his start writing for Beavis and Butthead as it took off, and I think that was his first writing gig, and then jumped off of that onto The Simpsons and went on to be the showrunner for Futurama. And yeah, there's a lot of ties between Futurama and Mike Judge. Actually, I think King of the Hill and Futurama might have shared a casting assistant or something, because there's a lot of the same voice actors on the two shows.
Yeah,
I prepared a little game. In fact, that might as well be when I go into it. I don't know if I can be bothered with it. Yeah, I might as well. I'll edit it out. I'm looking for stuff to do. Right. Okay, guys. I've got a list here of every actor who's appeared on both Futurama and King of the Hill.
Oh God.
And I want you to tell me basically higher or lower if you think they're in more Futurama episodes or more King of the Hill episodes. I'll tell you who they voiced on Futurama.
Okay.
To help you out.
Okay. How many episodes? Wait, how long did Futurama run for? It wasn't.
Futurama ran for 140 episodes. King of the Hill ran for 200 and about 220 or something.
Okay.
13 seasons of King of the Hill and 7 production seasons of Futurama. So nearly twice as much King of the Hill, I guess. Okay, so number 1, Billy West, who is the voice of, among many, many others, Fry, Zoidberg, the Professor, Zap Brannigan.
Well, he's in every episode of Futurama, and he's not a regular on King of the Hill, so it's got to be Futurama, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. He's in more Futurama, but he was in 5 episodes of King of the Hill, just as intermittent, random characters. It just weirdly dropped in throughout the show's run. Okay, Phil Lamar, the voice of Hermes and most of the black characters on Futurama.
Again, he's probably in almost every episode of Futurama, or certainly the vast majority. And I don't think he's a regular on King of the Hill, not that I can think of. So I guess he'd have to be less.
Well, yeah, you are correct. He was in 132 of Futurama's episodes, but he was in 18 King of the Hill episodes as well. There was a role that Chris Rock voiced initially that he took over from, among others, who was sort of a recurring regular in later seasons. Okay, Lauren Tom, the voice of Amy Wong.
I'm going to say Futurama.
Are you guys familiar with King of the Hill? Should I
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched all of them.
Are you familiar enough to be aware of Min and Connie?
I know.
Yeah.
The Asian neighbours who...
Oh, King of the Hill.
They're Laotian.
Yes, they are.
So does she voice them then?
Well, yeah, the kid sounds exactly like Amy, and the kid's mum sounds exactly like Amy's mum. So, yeah, they're kind of her two voices she does.
Much like how the old lady that Cloris Leishman voices in the Beavis and Butthead movie sounds exactly like the old lady that she voices in that one episode of The Simpsons. I love that Cloris Leishman is an old woman, and yet she has an old woman voice that she does for cartoons.
Yeah, she's doing an old
do her regular thing, but no. Anyway.
I did like that, yeah. Okay, next.
You haven't guessed yet. Futurama or King of the Hill?
King of the Hill.
Well, I'm going, yeah. All right, for the sake of argument, I'll go Futurama, just because I know the neighbours weren't in every episode of King of the Hill.
Yeah, you are correct, Alan. She was in 131 episodes of Futurama, but 98 episodes of King of the Hill. So
I would have gone for Futurama if you hadn't misled me with your...
Well, the husband is more regular than the wife and kid.
Yeah.
So.
Then we've got Maurice LaMarche, who was Morbo, Lur, Horrible Gelatinous Blob, other characters who talk like this.
King of the Hill.
Futurama.
Yeah, 129 Futurama episodes, 8 episodes of King of the Hill. Okay, now, David Herman, who voices Scruffy, Wernstrom, all sorts of incidental characters.
King of the Hill.
Mayor Poopenmeyer.
King of the Hill. Who?
Yeah, King of the Hill.
Yeah, you are correct. He was in 119 episodes of Futurama. He was in 146 episodes of King of the Hill. Right, it's going to start getting trickier now. Dawn Lewis. She voiced La Barbara, Hermes' wife, and other characters.
King of the Hill.
See, she must be black, and there's not that many black characters in King of the Hill, so I'm going Futurama.
Yeah, it's set in Texas. You're right, 15 episodes of Futurama, 2 King of the Hill. Right, Phil Hendry. Are you familiar with him? Comedian, radio comedian, I believe. He voiced the Free Waterfall family in Futurama.
Futurama.
So the guy in the Poplars episode, the guy in the Penguins one.
I'll go King of the Hill.
Yeah, he's in 24 episodes of King of the Hill against 7 episodes of Futurama. Okay, Brittany Murphy, who voiced
I know this.
Fry's,
King of the Hill.
Fry's girlfriend briefly.
She's dead, isn't she?
King of the Hill. Yeah, she was in 231 episodes of King of the Hill against 4 episodes of Futurama.
Yeah, she was a regular character.
Yeah, she's kind of the main reason that King of the Hill will probably never be revived, sadly. Now we're into the celebrity guests. Pamela Anderson.
King of the Hill.
Futurama.
Calvin is correct. Yes! She was in 2 episodes of Futurama, 1 episode of King of the Hill. Yes. She played herself in Futurama, but then she also, while she was in the recording studio, voiced one of the ones that hangs out with Slomes Mackenzie in that episode. Then we have Lucy Liu.
Futurama. No, wait. Yeah, Futurama, yeah.
It's got to be Futurama. She's sort of a regular. She keeps coming back on
You're both correct. She was in 2 episodes of Futurama, 1 of King of the Hill. Again, they just got her to record some lines for posterity's sake when she was in the recording booth. And then okay, David Cross, who voiced Yivo.
King of the Hill.
No, Futurama. He was in 2 Futurama as Yivo, and 1 episode of King of the Hill as a witch, a Wiccan. Tara Strong, Brony's favourite.
King of the Hill.
Futurama.
Calvin has got that one right. It's 7 episodes of King of the Hill. She was only in 1 episode of Futurama. As a ballet dancing child. Okay, Chris Elliott, comedian Chris Elliott. I don't know if you're familiar with
King
this
of
one.
the Hill.
He voiced V. Giney in Futurama.
I'm gonna King of the Hill.
Yeah, it was 5 King of the Hill episodes, 1 Futurama.
You know Chris Elliott.
He's in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, he's in Groundhog Day and one of the scary movie films he's in. He's the guy who goes, "Take my strong hand."
Oh,
Scary Movie 3, maybe?
Yeah. There's Scary Movie 2, yeah.
Okay. Karen Maruyama. I don't know who that is, but...
Futurama?
King of the Hill.
You're both wrong. It's a draw. She was in 1 episode of each.
Trick question. Wait, we could have both been right as well as wrong there. You're a glass half empty kind of person, aren't you? So.
Okay. Pauly Shore. Comedian Pauly Shore voiced himself in Futurama.
Yeah, Futurama.
King of the Hill.
You're both wrong. It's a draw. He was in one episode of each. Snoop Dogg.
Futurama.
It's a trick question.
Yeah, he's not been in
It
either
is a
of
trick
them.
question. He was in one of each. He voiced himself in Futurama on the Supreme Court Justice, whatever they're called. He's part of the Supreme Court. And he was in King of the Hill as a pimp.
I'm not really sure about how this quiz is organised. It feels like we started with all the Futurama regulars and then sort of slowly trickled into the King of the Hill regulars.
Yeah,
and now we're in
maybe I should have mixed it up a bit.
it's like you just went down the IMDb lists. Or...
There's one left.
Okay.
And Calvin, you are 1 point behind Alan here. So
How did that happen?
you can...
He's
Yeah, I
making
don't know
it up
either. But...
to make it sound interesting.
So...
Can I have a chance to go first? Before Alan jumps in?
Yeah, go on then.
Yes.
John Goodman. John Goodman is the voice of Robot Santa.
Oh, God. I know there were a couple of Robot Santa episodes. I remember that there was a big controversy about the first Robot Santa episode because the Fox executives were really nervous that it was going to cause outrage or something, and they had it at a later time slot, and then...
That's the second one, actually. But...
Oh, okay. Well, Society didn't fall, and then they felt they could air it. I'm going to go Futurama. So I was doing like you know like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when they get asked a question and then they can't just give you an answer. They have to like walk through the... but wait a minute. Sorry, no, he's a proper. Because he's like a perfectly.
I'm going to go the opposite of whatever Calvin says for the sake of
I'm going to
competition.
say Futurama, but I think I might.
The
be
answer is
wrong.
You're both wrong. He was in one episode of each. He was Robot Santa in one episode, but John DiMaggio took over for subsequent Robot Santa episodes.
Cheaper, I suppose.
But he does sound, he's quite an easy voice to imitate. John Goodman. No, I can't do it. John DiMaggio can do it though.
That was your Kelsey Grammer impression.
Can either of you guys do John Goodman? He's kind of like... No, I can't even do it.
These
Not fat
days,
enough.
he's got that gravel that
Not
you
yet.
can't really fake. You've got to just have the
Yeah.
age to do it.
Yeah.
Give it 10 years.
That's a talking llama. What are we doing with this talking llama? No, that's nothing like John Goodman. Oh, never mind.
Talking llama.
I'm doing...
Was that Jimmy Stewart?
No, I'm doing Emperor's New Groove.
Oh!
He's trying to channel his character. He's trying to channel Patcher.
He's doing Patrick Warburton.
Hey, Billy Crystal, you and I, we're friends. We gotta look after this girl.
Shall we talk a bit about the film?
Probably should, shouldn't we?
What about Beavis and Butthead in space? Huh?
I mean, again, I'd enjoy it, but it's just a complete betrayal of the character. But they could have them go and hang out with the little astronaut, the MTV guy who opens the film.
Oh, I just remembered something. Speaking of film openings, there was a Marvel comic series of Beavis and Butthead. Did you know that?
I think I've seen something about it in the past and completely forgotten about it.
So we could do a Marvel interpretation of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, cinematic universe.
Exactly, yeah.
Iron Man gives them a great new TV, and I don't know. Well, yeah, writes itself.
Oh God, Iron Man, but it's voiced by Mike Judge as Tom Anderson, Hank Hill, going whoa. They somehow confuse Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead are bitten by a radioactive spider and get powers. So Iron Man takes them under his wing and gives them like a spider suit, and then now this is just turning into that god-awful Kevin Smith thing, Blunt Man and Chronic, the movie, or whatever it's called. That one of the biggest piles of shit I've ever seen. Have you seen that, Alan?
Well, no, I haven't. I mean, I know the characters and whatever, but I haven't seen the actual.
God, it's so bad. It feels like Kevin Smith wrote it on a napkin. Like it doesn't.
That's quite possible.
It's the worst thing he's ever done.
Well, is it? Is it feature length?
Yeah, it's a feature length. He wrote this thing about Blunt Man and Chronic. It's a superhero parody. They become superheroes. He handed it to like one guy, I think, who like animated the entire thing. I think Tara Strong shows up at one point, and that's like a big special guest. Mark Hamill's probably in it, and it's fucking awful. like one of them turns into like a cock who, in fact, that might be the villain. Is just like a cock who comes on people. It's like his power. It's just it's the most puerile shit. It's awful. It's like I say, it's the worst thing Kevin Smith's ever done. And I mean, I quite like Kevin Smith, but
that's still saying something.
It feels like he had to. It feels like he did one draft and he had to complete it in half an hour.
What's it called?
Whilst high. Let me look it up. 'Cause it's something like Blunt Man and Chronic the movie or something. Like I say, Kevin Smith is the credited writer. It's not like he came up with the idea and pitched it. Sent it off to someone else to write for him. It should be better than it is. Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie.
Yes. I haven't seen it now. I'm gonna have to watch it though.
It's very bad. Calvin, you should watch it and just see how good you've got it with Beavis and Butthead Do America.
I didn't hate Beavis and Butthead Do America. I was 6 out of 10.
That's alright. That's pretty good from Calvin.
What do you mean from me?
That's quite a high score from you.
Is it?
6? Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was the friendly one of...
No, you're always like, oh, I love this film. I thought it was great. Yeah, that was a good, solid film. And then I'm like, right, what do you give it out of 10? And you're like, oh, yeah, 6. And it's like, oh.
Well, six is the nothing. Anything lower than that is objectionable.
Right, we're catching up now. Slightly more recent episode than these other ones was the lads did a big episode about It, Stephen King's clown spooky-tacular story. At the end of that recording there, the lads, they went off on an absolutely ridiculously huge tangent for about 40 minutes, chatting about Mr. Blobby and the Chuckle Brothers and other bloody quote-unquote clowns. I mean, if you ask me, they're not real clowns. Chuckle Brothers and bloody Mr. Blobby, they're not clowns. Clowns, that's like my cousin Clown Bond from Octopussy. That's a clown. Not bloody Chuckle Brothers, I swear. Dear oh dear.
There's a clown and serial killer in the 2003 Rob Zombie film House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, well, there we go.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought they'd necessarily count. But yeah, what's his name? Sid Haig.
I haven't seen it.
Well, Sid Haig sort of puts makeup on.
Twisty the Clown, a character in the television series American Horror Story.
I said that one.
All right. I'm just reading a list. I'm not really...
It's normally us that don't listen to your pictures, not the other way around. Oh, I'm kidding.
The most famous professional wrestling depiction of an evil clown was Doink the Clown, a persona originated in 1992 by professional wrestler Matt Osborne.
Oh yeah, this lists clowns in films. There's like Laurel and Hardy and
it's
Peter
got Slim
Sellers
Pickens on it.
That's why I've moved on.
The Three Stooges.
I've moved on to evil clowns. That's it. So that's why I'm in a different place.
Benny Hill.
Charlie Chalk.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Charlie
I completely forgot about Charlie Chalk.
Yeah, he had a chain of pubs, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, Bubbles the Clown from the BBC test cards.
Oh, is Mr. Blobby a clown?
Not a proper...
Or is he like a space alien?
He's an alien.
Blobby. What is Mr. Blobby? Let's have a look. Mr. Blobby, I wonder if any of our American listeners, or indeed international listeners, know what Mr. Blobby is.
Well, do we need to explain what Noel Edmonds is first? It might be difficult. What is Mr. Blobby, actually? Because he is an alien, isn't he? Doesn't he come out of a spaceship in the music video? For his hit single.
I'm just reading up on him now.
I mean, should we explain properly? He's
got a wife.
It was a character on a TV show, but like...
what's the American equivalent?
How do you describe Noel's house party before we start?
Well, it's kind of like if you just say a British, like, Tonight with David Letterman.
That doesn't explain it all, because it was much more family oriented.
It is. They hear British and they think, yeah, British humour, it's all weird.
It's on at like 7:30 on a Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening. And basically it was Noel Edmonds, who's just like his sort of friendly radio turned TV presenter. And then Mr. Blobby was a character that was like a man in a sort of pink costume that looked like a big sort of dildo.
Like a full body mascot costume.
Yeah. Like a sports mascot, yeah. And he just sort of runs around going, Blobby, Blobby, Blobby. And for some reason it's become a popular sensation.
He's a bit like a Teletubby. And he was just like the mascot of this show, but then he had a single.
He had a Christmas number one in 1993. He doesn't speak, but, there were people singing.
Well, he does. He says blobby, blobby, blobby.
Oh, yeah, he does say blobby, blobby, blobby.
Let's see. Wikipedia page for Mr. Blobby. Although popular in Britain, the character came to attract substantial criticism. Doesn't elaborate.
Oh, great.
Oh, God. Look on his Wikipedia page, right? And on the right, there's a little info box. It has first appearance, 21st November, 1992, Noel's house party, blah, 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 blah. Spouses, Mrs. Blobby, children, baby Blobby, brackets, son, nationality, British.
Oh, so he's not an alien then?
Well, apparently not, no.
Is he a clown, though? What is it?
What about, the Chuckle Brothers, they're basically clowns, aren't they?
Oh, I love a Chuckle Brothers.
No, they are good. The Chuckle Brothers, for you Americans, is the longest running, I think, sitcom of all time by episode count, live action. Is that correct? It's certainly the longest.
No, it can't.
It's the longest
There must be
running.
some American series.
It's
from
the longest running
50s,
British sitcom by episode count. I think it's the longest running British, not scripted British show ever made, like by
There's
episode
only
count,
been
not counting soap
292
operas.
episodes, and by American standards, that's that
They're
must
all-
have been.
I
I mean,
mean,
how many was the?
They're all
Honeymooners?
exactly the same anyway, so it's...
No, they're not. In the early 80s, well, they're not all exactly the same. In the last, in one of the later series, they got a time machine and they were doing these weird, prolonged story arcs with them going to visit the Scarlet Pimpernel and stuff. It got really weird and elaborate towards the end.
How do you...
I think it's run more than Last of the Summer Wine, which is generally pointed to as our longest running sitcom.
Yeah, but that was running for 40 years or something.
Yeah, but they didn't make nearly 300 episodes like the Chuckle Brothers
They
did.
made nearly 200
I think-
episodes.
Well, that's 100 fewer than the Chuckle Brothers.
Oh no! Oh, number of episodes last of Summer Wine 295.
Oh, they beat the Chuckle Brothers by 3 or something. Is that right?
You take your Chuckle Brothers and
I thought you liked the Chuckle Brothers a minute ago, Calvin.
I do love them, but I'm
what
just getting
soured you
annoyed
on
that
them?
you were so adamant that they were the longest running series on Earth.
Well, they feel like it if you've ever watched one. For anyone who doesn't know what the Chuckle Brothers are, they were these two old men who...
And they were old in 1978, so...
Yeah. And their whole shtick was that they would carry things. And one of them would say, to me, and the other one would say, to you. Right, no, guys, this is important. Because I've just discovered that the Chuckle Brothers are not the only brothers of their family.
No, there's 4 of them.
There are two other brothers, older
Oh my God.
brothers, who were also a double act, known as the Patton Brothers.
The Patton Brothers.
Yeah.
Is that because their name is Patton?
No,
Oh, okay.
the surname's Elliot. So the Chuckle Brothers' older brothers are the same thing, but less successful. They do pantomime from the look of it.
Well, you know.
And they would
Probably
appear...
as the brothers of the Chuckle Brothers.
The Chuckles Brothers.
Well, it says they made regular appearances in Chucklevision.
Chucklevision is the actual name of the show, by the way, not Chuckle Brothers. Every time we say Chuckle Brothers ran for this long, it was they're the two in the TV show called Chucklevision.
This is brilliant. Okay, Jimmy, who is the eldest of the brothers, he's now 85. In September 2015, Jimmy became engaged to a 25-year-old Chucklevision fan he had met on Facebook. They got married April 15th of this year. There's a newspaper article in the Yorkshire Post.
She's after that Chuckle fortune.
Imagine... I'm sorry, imagine being a 20-year-old Chucklevision fan and you don't even bag one of the real brothers. If you're going to do it, go for Barry or Paul.
Oh, Paul and Barry were not at the wedding.
It's funny though, the Chuckle Brothers do have Operation U-Tree written all over them, but not a sniff of controversy there.
No, I know. Well, I don't. Yeah, I reckon they're clean.
Yeah.
It's a shame you can't look at people like that in this day and age without questioning it. But I think
when
they're all
the
right.
brother is marrying a 25-year-old.
Yeah, but that's all above board. They're 20. I reckon that
yeah, but
one of them got embroiled in a scandal because he was in an affair with a fan's mother. But I reckon that's as far as it goes with the
respectable,
Chuckles.
isn't
Yeah, and that's fine, isn't it? It's an adult woman. That's fine. If they want to cheat on the husband with a Chuckle brother. Ooh, imagine being that whose wife leaves you
The
for a
ultimate
Chuckle
cuckold.
brother. That would be...
Chuckled.
And on that note...
Shall we stop? Nothing in the last half hour is entirely usable.
Yeah, no. Oh, here we go. Operation U-Tree. The Chuckle brothers attended the trial of Dave Lee Travis, who had been accused of molesting a stagehand while performing at a theatre in Crawley during the early 1990s. The trial had been part of Operation U-Tree. Travis had been performing with the duo when the incident had occurred. However, the brothers could not recall such an attack taking place. Paul stated that it was complete shock that such an attack had occurred in their presence. Oh, they'll get them one day.
No, I mean that's the first place you'd look, and if they haven't come out yet, then that's that.
If you haven't gotten by now, they're clean, and the same goes for Timmy Mallet.
Yeah.
The lads after it, they had a whole string of bloody horror episodes. It was bloody terrifying, if you ask me. And one of them was about Child's Play, those Chucky movies with that bloody ginger doll. And here's a little clip they have from there where they're chatting about people named Charles.
I thought you were going to do the same thing as me, actually, Saul. I was, I thought, the Andy connection was gonna brought up sooner.
Such a rare name.
All right.
Andy McDowell arrives to the toy store.
Handy Andy from the changing rooms.
That's the only two Andys we can think of. Andy McDowell and Andy from Changing Rooms. Andy Peters. He's the guy who does the competitions on Good Morning Britain, where he runs up to middle-aged housewives who are trying to get the kids ready for school, and he's like, "You've just won £1,000," and they're like, "Oh my god, what are you doing with your £1,000? We're going to Disneyland." They always go to Disneyland anyway.
Andrew Marr.
Okay, what about famous people?
Andrew Jackson.
Famous people called Charles. Go.
Lee Ray.
Exactly. Yeah. Who else?
Dickens.
Charles Ray.
Dickens.
Darwin.
Dickens.
Too old. I want modern Charleses.
Darwin.
That's the same era as Dickens.
Charles.
Berry. Chuck Berry.
Prince Charles.
Prince Charles.
Well, I assume he was Charles Chuck Berry, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, Charles Berry.
I feel like there should be more famous Charleses that are still alive.
Charlton Brooker? Charlie Brooker? Does that count? Charlton?
Charlie
Charlie.
Chaplin.
See, Charlie, that's your modern take on Charles. Charles is an old-fashioned name, isn't
Should I do my pitch?
it? Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
You
go on.
let me down with your knowledge of Charleses.
Charles Finster from the Rugrats. Chucky.
Charles S. Dutton out of Alien 3.
Ah. Charles Launton. Charlton Heston.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, yeah, sorry, Sol, your pitch.
Last up, you lads, you might remember the lads, they did a big old episode for Halloween about the Blair Witch Project. Well, here's a cut bit where they go off on a bit of a tangent about funfair metaphors, comparing each film in the trilogy to a roller coaster and shit like that. The third one is a really quite thrilling adrenaline ride. It's a different kind of scare. It's more of a jump scare kind of thing, but that's fine. And I think it's very effective at doing that as well.
Even the third one, I didn't think overly relied on that idea. They threw a couple of jumps in there, but I don't think that was to its detriment. And I think it essentially it did what the first one did.
Yeah.
In terms of the running around in the dark and oh my god, what's over there?
Yeah, but the third
mentality.
one's much more of a tense, like I say, roller coaster ride. It's not about atmosphere and leaving you thinking, what the hell was that? That's so creepy. It's more about, oh shit, this thing's chasing this person. Run away. Are we going to get away in time? What's that? Run. It's much more of a, like I say, it's more of a roller coaster ride than it's a difference between a haunted
House of Horrors.
spooky ride and an M.R. James short being read to you. It's
And the second one is the House of Mirrors. That's just a bit shit, and they're trying to claim that it distorts reality.
The second one is the House of Horrors experience at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. If you've ever been to there, have you ever been?
No.
It's oh god.
Does the proprietor follow you
it's
around
no,
and
you go
sort of
honestly.
explain to you how nothing is quite what he intended, and how he's got this other attraction that he likes a lot
No,
more?
honest to God,
but,
it's amazing. You go there. There's an old man who presumably owns it and just sits there every day, and his whole job on the front is just to lower expectations. And there's several big signs up that say no refunds. And he says you go in, you just walk round dead quick. Just a quid. It's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. It's just a quid. You go in, you walk around, you come out. That's it. And he says that about 10 times to everyone as they're going in. And you agree to go in. You walk up the stairs. There's some broken, like polystyrene-ish monsters. There's some broken, like fiberglass things. There's a vampire in one of the later rooms that tries to lift up out of its coffin, but sort of stutters and falls back. It's like nothing works. It's really shit, but it's like hilariously shit if you're an ironic hipster like me. So that's the second one, but it's worth a quid if you're going to get an ironic laugh out of it. So
Yeah, quid. What can you get for a quid these days? Eh?
Blair Witch 2, actually, from the charity shop. That's why I paid for it.
You found it in a charity shop?
Yeah,
The 2-disc special edition?
yeah, £1.
Well,
Nice.
I wouldn't have thought that enough people would have bought it that it would end up in a charity shop.
What can you get for it? Can you sell it?
I can probably get less than £1. That was your episode for the week. Hope you enjoyed that. Nice selection of memories, kind of false memories, because you never heard that before. They're familiar, and you think, oh, I have heard that before. That sounds familiar, that does. Like an old familiar pal. But it's actually a con man. It's a guy who's come in pretending to be an old pal that you haven't seen in 20 years. And he's not actually him. He's just there. He's trying to steal your bloody life and your account and your checkbooks and your bank information, and he'll bleed you dry. Get out while you still can. Get out. Aye. Donkey. Aye, so, hope the lads are back next week. They ought to be. Until next time, Bond fans, Ajaya Gajaimash.
You only live twice, no more than twice.
Never again, I swear. These lads, I swear, they don't pay me enough to come in doing this shit for them every bloody time. When they can't be bothered to bloody well get their own fucking episodes together. It's fucking outrageous. I'm not bloody doing this again at this bloody short notice. Bloody hear me there.